Yeah, hail. I realised really early on at the start of this session I probably should have said who I was and what I do. So yeah, I'm Katie. I'm currently working for the National Trust as a Lowland Peat Research Fellow for them, but kind of providing general support to all the properties who are working in the Lowland Peat space, particularly looking at paludiculture in my role. And I'm also, I guess the way I got linked in, a bit like Joey, was through, I do a lot of work with the British Ecological Society through their Peat and Wetlands Special Interest Group, kind of as the general committee member, but trying to bring a bit of an ENGO presence and early career presence onto that committee. So I thought I'd give you a bit of background as to kind of my career journey through different PT aspects. And a lot of it started, I've put the logos as they were at the time. So I've got the old logo of the North Pennines, AONB, as it was known at the time. And that was kind of my first interaction with peatlands. So I'm from West Durham area and kind of loved going out and about in the North Pennines. I had no idea what peat was. And I think it was maybe for a school project, we were told that we had to go and do a few days of like volunteering in something. So I got in touch with the North Pennines AONB and was like, can I come volunteer with you? And they took me out onto probably the coldest field work I've still ever done in my life in the middle of January on top of a fell. Planting cotton grass plants, doing recording with them. And this is when I realised that all the landscapes that I really, really love are all peatlands. So from there, I was like, okay, the North Pennines is cool. Where else are cool peatlands in the UK? And I heard about the Flow Country. So I kind of sent a bit of a cold email to the RSPB at Forstenard up in the Flow Country in northern Scotland and said, can I come and volunteer for you? And they said yes. So somehow I managed to then spend between my second and third years of university, I did like a short conservation traineeship with them. I was very lucky, and at the time I was still kind of at university and used that long summer, so I still had like the student loan and kind of money from the hospitality work, but that's something we could bring up in future discussions, is how like sustainable it is to kind of have these positions primarily voluntarily based. But as an experience, I really loved it at the time, kind of learning to ID sphagnum, getting skills in, how to drive a 4x4, all of that kind of thing. From then, I then graduated, some pictures from RSPB time. I then graduated into the pandemic and was a bit like, okay, there's like no jobs anywhere, but was very lucky in then finding at least a role in the environmental sector as an ecologist with Devon County Council. And I'd previously worked part-time with different consultancies just to get an understanding of that. It wasn't something that I really wanted to do, but it was kind of what was there, and it gave me like an insight into how local government works, how planning works, that kind of thing. But the whole time I was thinking I just really miss peatlands, and although I love kind of looking up a chimney and seeing a load of lesser horseshoe bats, I am missing a boggy landscape. So from there I was super fortunate in kind of simultaneously having two potential opportunities, one with the Crichton Carbon Centre as a peatland project officer, or also a PhD with the UK Centre for Ecology and Hydrology. And it was very much a sliding door moment in my career. And in the end, I kind of took up the PhD with UKCEH. And it's really nice actually to see how many project officer jobs are now appearing. Because at the time I thought, am I never going to be able to get back out into that kind of career again? So yeah, started a PhD with them. And I still have a bit of this crisis today, like, do I really, my love is being out on a peatland, and I spend a lot of time kind of in front of a computer. But I did find through the PhD, I did get to spend a lot of time outside touching peat. And through that, I also had like the amazing opportunity a lot of my work was focused in the Falkland Islands, so the amazing opportunity to learn about a peatland in another part of the world, go to conferences and share my research again around the world. I did a small part of it as well, just through like reaching out to different opportunities at the Natural History Museum, and did a lot of like peatland microbiology there. So again, like incredible opportunities to work in like crazy buildings. And then through that as well, I tried to get a bit more involved in policy stuff. And so it's quite easy in the Falklands in that there's not that many MPs and you know them all. So it's quite easy to have like kind of influence there. But it also gave me the opportunity then to reach out to other countries that the Falkland was working quite closely with. So spend some time in Uruguay as well, helping them kind of learn about their peatlands. From there, I did take a secondment and worked for DEFRA for a bit, which again was an interesting experience to then go back into kind of the government public sector. So there I was working as a scientist with the Lowland Peat team there and kind of doing evidence review synthesis for them to help guide policy. And it's kind of crazy now seeing some of the grant funding is like partially based on some of the research work that I was doing. But it's also helps me really understand like what the policy needs are in the peat space, and how can I like shape the work that I'm doing in the future so that it matches kind of what policy wants and wants to fund. And that's kind of brought me a lot of the Lowland peat focus in the DEFRA work, then kind of led me into my now role with the National Trust, kind of doing research but also supporting Lowland peat generally. And then we were asked to like think of a few reflections. I think a lot of mine are like, be bold but with humility. 2 of the positions I've had, I either like missed the deadline or didn't know they were advertised, and I was basically just sending out random emails to people asking if I could like find out more. I found actually going out and kind of seeking out opportunities that might not even be directly advertised in areas that you're interested in have been really beneficial for me. I'm really keen to, manage your capacity, but also use all the opportunities that there are out there to learn and grow. So when I was in the Falklands, there was the opportunity to do like wildfire training. And as a result, now in my role in the National Trust, I'm helping with our central team thinking about how we manage wildfire across the whole estate. Opportunities to do like crazy coding training. I was able to work a little bit just on a project randomly funded by the government when I was doing the PhD to look at emissions from Lowland peat in different places, and that really helped to get the kind of role with DEFRA. And again, I think going out and chatting to people has also helped with like the British Ecological Society stuff. I think as well, one of my pieces of advice is continue to try and do the things that seem intimidating. I gave a talk at a really big conference a few years ago, and I must have gone to the toilet like 8 times before my presentation. I was so nervous, but it's helped because it's meant that like today I can like stand and speak to you all and I'm not shaking, and like really other cool opportunities that have helped kind of me meet lots of people in the sector. So speaking, on behalf of the museum, being a mentor with the British Ecological Society, just finding out these little bits and opportunities that have then like kind of helped me build my own network. And a big thing for me is also like sharing the brilliance of bogs. I mean, that's how I get a lot of my kind of validation in the role that I'm doing, is seeing people inspired by peatlands. And also, seeing people who had never thought that they could have a career in this sector, finding it really interesting and cool, and now starting to see people come through and appear in like the peatland space more and more. So yeah, I'm going to finish there. Yeah.
Thank you. Talking well, Katy, that was great. Does anybody have any questions for Katy? We've probably got time for one before we hand over to our next speaker. Yes, Manuel. Oh, hang on.
Thank you for your presentation. So I work for NRW, and we have kind of trainee roles and roles to get people into the world of peatland early on. I'm just interested to know, maybe as a question to the room really, where's the best place for us to advertise these positions? You said there you missed some deadlines for posts and things, but I'm quite keen that we let people know in the best way possible, so feedback on that would be useful.
Ooh, okay, that's such a good question. And I've actually seen the stuff that you're doing with like trying to bring people in, and it's really, really cool and impressive. And that's also something I think we want to talk about a little bit in some of the panel session and have conversations about in the room. For me, I guess, it's all through like word of mouth is how I've heard about a lot of these opportunities. And then as I've gone through, just knowing the right networks to link into. But then again, it's been very like peatland specific. I found like some of the best ways though in terms of reaching people who perhaps haven't thought about a career is mainly through community events, and kind of, when people hear about peat for the first time, being like, it's not just this thing that you get on the hill, you can actually work in this sector. So one thing we found really useful when I was with Devon County Council actually was even things like county shows and having the opportunity to talk and reach new audiences and things like that. But that would be something that would be cool to come back to in like panel discussions and things later.